Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's another great week, and great things are happening. Man, oh man, it's been a whirlwind of activity. It's like Donald Trump is that thing, that cartoon that whirls around real fast. What is that? I can't remember. Let's bring in Chris to help my Joe Biden riddled memory this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good
Chris, are you
morning.
there? Hello,
Yes, right
where's the
here.
Chris? There he is.
This is what
We're
happens when the
talking about
internet
the
drags in the morning.
Tasmanian devil.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Tasmanian devil. He's been
I'm
doing that.
referring to Donald Trump as the Tasmanian. I'm surprised someone hasn't done that meme yet, where Donald Trump is a Tasmanian devil, just kind of whirling around, just going and knocking down all the silliness of the left. Wouldn't that be great? Like an anti woke Tasmanian devil.
It would work because the woke are going to be the next Wile E. Coyote. They're going to try to buy everything from Acme and rebrand it and everything else and fail.
Well, I think that's what Davos is trying to do, right? Which is
Oh
just
yeah.
working out too well for him. Yeah. By the way,
Davos.
I Davos this morning, I was just going through stuff, and when you go through, when you bring up like the Davos, I think you sent me a link. We're going to go through it today, like the quotes of Davos. Did you know when you put in Davos and strip club, it says that when you walk into a strip club, the song you hear 9 times out of 10 is "Girls, Girls, Girls." Did you know that? That's a little
Hmm.
trivia from Davos. So that's what they do over there. Apparently, they have strippers. So who'd have thought?
Well, maybe they need somebody else to run Snopes. That's another story for another day. But
Non-binary strippers, by the way. They go.
oh, that's got to be disgusting.
It is well, Davos. What can I say? Okay, Chris. Well, let's jump into. And by the way, good morning, Patriots. I forgot. I got to say good morning to the folks here. Let me get into chat because I haven't done that yet. So, but start off. Go ahead, good sir, and start rolling out the stuff we need to talk about.
Well, Davos happened, and again, it's a bunch of annoying elitists with their private jets and trying to set the course for the world that they wish to have. Basically, it's a bunch of liberals trying to make the world a better place for them to live in. So let's take a look and see what has happened over the week. The the highlight of the week was Javier Milei. We're going to talk about that and get into that very soon. I want to get into some of the things they tried to pull on us and some of the things that they won't be very successful with if that's the case. Let's get into that. Talking to Reuters here. What we
Yeah.
learned from the World Economic Forum. Want to go with what they were looking at here. Funny thing. There are very funny things that happen here. One of them is, for some reason, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's optimism about the ceasefires in the Middle East. I'm not exactly sure what the factor is. And there's another thing going on, by the way. Iran, just out of
Yeah.
curiosity, they just decided last week at Davos that they want to sit at the table and negotiate as far as a nuclear deal is concerned. Could it be that there's leadership again in the world? Could it be that the
There is.
elites and the enemies are now just afraid to flex their muscles as they were last 4 years for some reason? Not sure what it is.
Um, I think so. So it's interesting because at this point, as you watch everything change, and I think the Patriots remember this. All these leaders, except for Molay and a handful of others, were trash talking Trump because they really bought into the leftist propaganda that Kamala Harris was all that in a bag of chips. And I guess she wasn't. She was short of not only a bag of chips but a sandwich to boot. So anyway,
Uh,
I think people bet on the wrong horse. I'll be honest with you. I think Donald Trump has been very gracious, and I appreciated probably like you when Trump got out there and did his speech, basically saying, "Hey, we're coming for you." And to your point, he showed leadership. It's like, yeah, we're not on with your program. We're not going along. And there were some other great quotes I'll get to in a second. I got to finish my text here. Sorry, I actually people are bothering me. Don't bother me while I'm on the air, people. Just say it.
I know. Tell them to wait till 10 o'clock because we got you on there.
Yeah,
Let's go for some of these quotes, though. I love some of
yeah.
these.
Go to the quotes. That's what
Not
I was going
in,
to go. I was going to bring them up. So go to the
yeah,
quotes.
let's do some highlights and low lights. Low lights. I say low lights. That was That was kind of the Freudian slip there. But highlights and lowlights from Davos. We'll hit that right away. Oh,
Yeah.
by the very cool picture of Javier Milei by
Yeah.
the Associated Press. That's nice because he was the star of the show. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. Now, first thing, let's go with the forum itself. We are witnessing a backsliding in democracy everywhere in the world, even in the most advanced democracy. It's a movement into the bad, in the wrong direction. That, of course,
Got it here.
Swiss President Elaine Berset. She leads the Council of Europe. And the funny thing is, Associated Press had to add, which defends human rights and supports democracy, which is a very vague definition. Fact is,
Well,
Davos World Economic Forum tool says this.
If you got to say it, there's a problem. It's like if it's not obvious, like, okay, yeah, I'm not buying into that. So, and to your point, we also had Malay. There's a quote from Malay: "The common denominator for countries that are failing is the mental virus of woke ideology." Now, that's pretty bold. He called them out right to their face. I mean, he's standing in a room of woke wankers, to quote a friend of mine. So it's like, man, that's pretty ballsy. So
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Hey, let's hear it. It actually sounds better coming from him.
And they will insist
I'm
on
sure.
the recipes of failure. And the great burden that is the common denominator among the countries and institutions that are failing is the mental virus of woke ideology. This is the great epidemic of our time that must be cured.
Yep.
This is the cancer we need to get rid of. This ideology has colonized the world's most important institutions, from the political parties and governments of leading Western nations to global governance organizations, even NGOs, universities, and media outlets. It has also set the tone of the global conversation over the past decades. Until we remove this abhorrent ideology from our culture, our institutions, and our laws, Western civilization, and even the human species, will not be able to return to the path of progress demanded by our pioneering spirit.
And that's true progress, actually moving forward as
yeah.
a world defending freedom. None of this progressive garbage. People, we have to stop calling these people progressives, because at this point they're communists and they're regressives. They're trying
Did you
to.
know? Yeah, did you know in Australia progressives are actually conservatives? Did you know that?
Well, yeah,
I'm
there
not
should
joking.
be.
I was on Australian TV yesterday. You know, there's a big election going on there with Albanese, who's a Labor guy, and the progressives. So it's like, I'm not Australian. I think people have figured that out, right? It's like I don't have the accent. Put another kangaroo in a Barbie and all that. See, I get it wrong every time.
What, don't you
Supposed
hold
to
up
be
your
Trump,
cool
not kangaroo.
and say that's a knife?
Well, for my Australian friends who are watching, I'm not demeaning you. I'm just making fun of your political system, because over there, the progressives are the left, are the center right. So I'm just saying, I'm not against the idea of removing progressive, because some parts of the world, progressives are conservatives. Just saying.
Oh,
So
in the Western media, within all Western media, they keep calling the far left progressives, when they're in fact trying to breathe life into what, 120-year-old failed philosophy of Marxism and communism altogether.
Does that
That's
mean
regressive.
Flo? Does that mean Flo is a Marxist? She's always trying to sell you that insurance. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe I'm thinking. I was thinking the other one telling us to kiss our grits, but that's another story for another day.
oh yeah, it is another story.
But
But
Javier
yeah,
Milei,
so that was good. So a lot of other folks spoke too. We got to roll on here, because
yeah, let's go.
Volodymyr Zelensky also spoke, and he pointed out regarding his war with Russia, trying to get the old Europeans spun up, which is not going to happen. He pointed out, and I'm quoting, "There's no ocean separating European countries from Russia." I guess he's like a geography teacher or something. It's like, yeah, that's true. And I think he's trying to remind him, it's like, hey, you live here, America doesn't. And he's right. We don't live there. Well, and Donald Trump said this, just to make a little aside. If you're one of the European countries and you're not paid your 5%, you're going to have problems. And that's part of the point. Is that, Chris, I don't think we'd have to be helping Ukraine if the freaking Europeans were doing their own national security work, don't you think?
No,
I mean,
I agree with that.
Why are the ones doing it?
Why are we paying pensions over there? There
Yeah.
it was obvious that Biden was protecting business interests. We all know
Oh
that.
yeah.
He was afraid
Oh yeah.
somebody was going to leak something because we all know. Even we saw the man brag about strong arming the former government.
Yeah. 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 Tom Fletcher. No, I don't want to go that one. That's kind of boring.
No,
Tom Fletcher, the UN humanitarian aid coordinator, he said, whenever you walk into a strip club, a lot of ones. That's good advice right there. It's
yeah. Well,
he said that. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that, but he probably thought it.
We missed the Trump clip. The Trump quote was great.
Oh, do the Trump clip. Do the Trump thing if you want. I got some. Keep going. I mean,
if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
Yeah,
and he's 100% right. Yeah. Look, it's unfair competition if we have to pay for these high labor standards and we have to pay, for dental and we have to pay for everything else, which is fair. We should be doing that. But other countries should be doing the same thing if they want to sell here.
Well, we already saw it over the weekend. His tariff threat worked instantly. Like the flash to bang. I don't want to get off topic because I want to finish the quotes here, but man, oh man, Colombia, we're not taking it. You're disrespecting our folks. Fine, we'll give you 50% tariffs. Oh, we're gonna go back at you. It's like, oh, that means no more Colombian coffee going out. Never mind. We'll send our airplane. We'll come pick them up.
He folded harder than Justin Trudeau. That's basically he was that bad. I mean,
it's like that. It's like that SpongeBob thing. 5 minutes later.
Well, I love the way Donald Trump is embarrassing these people. It's not last time out he was very subdued. He was like, all right, we'll just work with them and then we'll try to move them to our side. When he realizes they're all a big lunch table and they don't care about moving to our side.
Yeah.
Now we're just trolling him. He's like, I don't have to worry about re-election. They can't stop me now.
Yeah, I was listening to the radio over the weekend as I was driving back from meetings with the Venturas, the parade folks. We had a board meeting. I was going through the stuff with them. Anyway, on the drive back, they were talking about how this was like season one. The first 4 years were season one of a TV series where they kind of tried things out. Trump tried it their way. It's like, hey, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to be reasonable. It didn't work, and they just came after him. So it's like, yeah, no more Mr. Nice Guy. They did an Alice Cooper song, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Anyway, it's like, okay, I tried it your way, it didn't work. I'm doing it my way, and he's doing it like immediately. And that's what I think. It's why. Can I use the word progress? So much progress is being made. Speaking of progress, let me get back to the quotes here because this is an important one. Our fossil fuel addiction is a Frankenstein monster. It's scary. Monster horror chiller theaters. Count Floyd. Kids. Remember that from Second City TV? Monster horror.
I always liked was it Joe Flaherty's
3D House of Pancakes. Did you see that syrup, boys?
Have a nice phone.
Oh, yes, the 3D House of Pancakes. Ooh.
Do you need a pen?
Can we read clips of that? Because that was funny stuff there.
We got to pull that off. That sounds good.
Yeah. So anyway, but let's step back from Count Floyd and go back to this knucklehead, Antonio Gutierrez, UN Secretary General. Anyways, let me get back to this because we're talking about a Frankenstein monster. Our fossil fuel addiction is a Frankenstein monster sparing nothing and no one. Ooh. All around us, we see clear signs that the monster has become master. So I got to ask you, what the hell is he talking about? I mean, everything. Let me point out the obvious, because sometimes the obvious is the best thing to do. Everything that we have, everything we touch, it's all petroleum. It's all petrochemicals. It's the fundamental tool of modern society, and we're not to stop the development, the refining, the production of fossil fuel means stopping civilization. So this knucklehead clearly is part of that movement that wants to essentially remove and stop the progress of mankind. So Trump's having none of it. We're opening up the spigots, drill, baby, drill. This guy, this UN Secretary General needs to go the way of the woolly mammoth. And as a matter of fact, maybe we could put him in a glacier and freeze him and let him come out about 200 years from now.
Well,
So what
remember,
do you
he's
think?
he's the same guy that's been whining for the last, what was it, year and a half now, or I guess year and bunch of months about we have to have a ceasefire. The Israelis are being mean to the people that took them took their people hostage. Yeah, okay. You know what? Shut up, and sit down before you fall down, Tony. Okay, not you, the other Tony Gutierrez. Tired of hearing from this guy, and every time the Israelis make progress in the war in Gaza, every time he's up there to try to derail the whole thing and try to denounce the whole thing.
Yeah.
People are tired of his act, and believe me, Javier Milei said it too. And I'm going to go back to this because Trump was quieter because he didn't have a lot of friends or allies that would help him when it comes to Davos. Milei stood up, as he said, alone last year. This is before Trump got in. After he said something, and Orban got stronger. You have Maloney. He mentioned Maloney. And I want to actually go over to Brazil because what Joe Biden tried to do to Donald Trump is what Looney Lula did, and his communist cohorts did to Boris Borsellino. Jailed him because he spoke out. And now Lula's approval ratings going down.
Yeah.
So these people, the waning of the woke is starting. It just has to keep going.
Yeah. Well, that's important. And I think well, things like this indicate that they're going to fight. And I was texting with someone this morning in the Trump world about the fact that woke has to be, they're going to try to hide it. And it's already happened twice. The Air Force is quietly trying to say, "Oh, we're going to keep doing this quietly," and so someone ratted them out. It's like, okay, whoever said that needs to be fired. And I think the Navy has kind of hinted that they're going to try to do the same thing. Oh, and the Marines denied they ever had it. Oh, we never did this. Like I got this from one of Joe Dunford's advisors, General Dunford's a good friend of mine. He sent it to me. It's like the Marine Corps is denying they ever had it. It's like, yeah, it's not going to work. We know. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to go to ground because Chris, what they're going to do, what they're thinking right now. And I know these people. I've been in the rooms with them. Well, we're going to have to pretend for the next year, and they're going to be tired, and they're going to stop looking for us, and we're going to come back out. So this is the thing. They cannot let them go to ground and kind of hide in the coffee clutches of the Pentagon or the big bureaucracies within the government. You know that you've already seen. I think ATF and some other organizations just tried to rebrand people.
I saw that chick. There was that one chick who was the chief diversity officer and somehow magically became a senior executive.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to hide and mask all this because there are roles working within the government. There are a lot of them.
Exactly. So we got to be ready for that. We got to be looking for that. Don't give up the pursuit. Don't get tired. So
now,
go ahead.
I have something for you that actually might work.
All right.
If they're going to try to disguise such things, there also has to be a way to kind of not put an axe to it, but make it look like a little more kinder and gentler and find a way to get rid of the dead wood or maybe have the dead wood get rid of themselves. One of these ways is to make sure, and this is what the Doge people are doing, to make sure these people actually show up for work instead of telecommute and jerk around all day, pet their cats. And
let's hear this.
This will get rid of the woke dead wood rather instantly because they're going to have to show up. You want to hear a couple of these people? This is absolutely insane.
Let's do it.
And they're so upset about it. They don't realize this is what's going to cut down DEI, getting rid of this trash. I mean, the dead wood, if you will, at work.
Okay. So today I was supposed to be leading a training about environmental justice for a national agency, but it was canceled. An hour before.
Environmental justice? Do you mean pine trees are out to get us? they're hunting us down.
Because when you hug them, the needles hurt.
That's right.
Why? Well, because the new federal guidelines from the Trump administration ban not only DEI trainings, but also any trainings or programs about environmental justice.
Oh, it's so horrible.
I don't. It's like it reminds me of The Princess Bride. You keep using that word. I don't think you understand what it means. I mean,
Oh, you know what? As we bring
you kidding
Cheryl in,
me? Oh.
as we bring Cheryl into this, I don't think this woman's doing
Hey,
justice.
good morning, Cheryl.
Yeah,
Hey, good
All right.
morning.
we're
Good morning.
gonna-
Are you ready? Are you ready for environmental justice?
You know, I don't even know what that means. I don't even think the left knows what it means, to be honest.
but in stopping her, we are actually perpetrating fashion justice.
And they're not stopping there. These policies go further, rolling back protections for our water, land, opening the floodgates to drilling, silencing those that are fighting for justice in any form. And to make matters worse, they're demanding a list of contractors like me who provide DEI and environmental justice trainings. And to be honest, it's terrifying.
Because your garbage is wasteful. It's not only wasteful, it's harmful to the entire world. That's been proven. Harmful to economies and livelihoods. But you know what? You can do absolutely nothing. Just preach all you want without doing any research and make a lot of money doing so. Those days are going to be over.
Right. And let me quote President Trump on this. You're fired. So she's out of here. She's gone.
And of course,
I mean, seriously. All right, go ahead, Chris. Keep going.
Here's another one.
Wonderful.
This is a piece of dead wood who doesn't want to show up for work, in real life. I think if you listen to this person, I think you know why. Too lazy.
As a government employee, what's so ironic about all of this shit going on with Trump making us go in person 5 days a week to promote efficiency and also establishing the Department of Government Efficiency.
She's going to hate the dress codes, by the way.
Yeah, she can't smoke the ganja all day.
Or vape. I think they vape this stuff now, right?
Either one.
Because of all of this news and all of the change in policy, we are yapping more at work. We are trying to digest everything that's going on. We cannot get any work done because of how much information intake that existing in this administration.
Attention, it's not fair.
If you can't handle going to work and working with other people, you don't belong there. This means the Deadwood's either going to quit or just not show up for work and get fired. And that's good. This will actually get rid of a lot of the DEI garbage and the moles from the left because they're naturally lazy. They don't even want to come to work. Yeah. DEI is it's a lazy policy.
Yeah, it is. So you're going to run some more for Chris, or we're done with her?
Let's hear from her. You really want to hear from this person. This is great.
Requires.
Okay.
And we're not yapping just to yap. We're yapping because every single day a memo comes down from God knows where.
You mean the boss?
Telling us that there's a new rule that we need to enforce that for a job that does not relate to what we're doing. Like, oh, you work for the FDA, guess what? Now you're going to have to enforce immigration. Any fucking federal employee, guess what? Go snitch on your fucking college.
All right, a little bit. Now she's getting a little irate here and cursing a little too much. But this
Chris, I love the man with the X-ray eye glasses on. It's like, man, she's like.
Are you sure that's a man? Isn't that or is that an X? Are we gonna get Cheryl in trouble?
Probably. We always try to get her in trouble. And of course,
my dog in the background might get me in trouble, so excuse him. Okay.
Oh, no.
I bet he thinks. I bet he thinks DEI is rough.
Rough. That's right.
Really bad.
Well, speaking of rough, I think we're also being monitored by our evil overlord, Ed Henry. Good morning, Ed. We love you.
Good morning, Ed.
Anyway, so obviously we're always working to get fired, and someday it'll happen, I'm sure. So anyway.
Sounds like
well, welcome to the show, Cheryl. So, Chris, what's her latest book? There it is.
That's this one right here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yep. Just came out a week ago.
So, so let's talk about it. So tell us about the book and what's going on with it, and we'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah, so I basically wrote the book because, we all need to get involved in politics, and we've just won big in the political realm, right, with Trump and majorities in the House and Senate and all that. But really, the long-term freedom for America is the battle to retain God-given rights and liberties. And I think we just need to
Absolutely.
keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah. So, is it on Amazon?
Yep, it's everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's at my publisher, Post Hill, Bombardier Imprint. It's everywhere books are available.
Excellent. So, are you going on tour to promote it, or just doing shows like ours and others? What are you going to do?
Well, your show is Tops, right? So I'm on your
Yeah.
show now.
are.
Thank
That's
you.
That's us.
Thank you very much. I'm doing media, and of course, I have the Washington Times is sponsoring the book launch party for me in a few weeks, which you guys,
good.
I hope you can come.
So make sure they send me the email on it, because they do invite me to stuff. Normally I can't make it, but since you are a friend, I'm going to make it. So
That'd be great. That'd be great.
So it'll be great. So, so is there a scratch and sniff section in the back for deadheads, like that one we just watched, where you scratch it, it smells like ganja or something like that? Like, don't do this, something like that.
Yeah,
So.
you mean that skunk smell that they call marijuana nowadays?
That's right.
When I was growing up, it used to smell sweet, right? And now it smells like skunk. I don't know.
No, you go to parts of DC and it smells like skunk, and I am not joking about that. You probably know who I'm talking about too, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's probably
I mean,
AOC's office.
Yeah,
Well, that might be another story for another day, and that's a different reason.
that's right. That's why they gave her a deck, so she could go out and smoke on the deck on the hill. So
That's
all right, but let's keep rolling here. So God given so I believe Donald Trump said this in his recent speeches, that God preserved him to restore and protect America. I believe that. Do you believe that too, Cheryl?
Well, I do, but I believe it in the same way that I think God has a mission and plan for every one of his
Absolutely.
creations, right? So Donald Trump may have had a dramatic saving from God that we all saw. And yeah, I think God saved him for this time in this season in America. But in the same way, we all have that, right? God has us here on earth in this particular time for a specific reason.
Yeah. And I think this is where I'd like people to get your book, because I think that's what people need to, return to. I know as someone who's done a lot of dangerous things from the time I was able to do dangerous things. I look back on it, it's like, oh my God, I'd like to believe that God permitted me to be stupid and still come through and do great things. And I think this is the other thing too. People need to be accepting of their flaws. Like, nobody's perfect. Except for Ocasio-Cortez. She's pretty perfect. She's fine. She's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Just ask her. She's good. But the rest of us humans have to, I think, go through a process of redemption. So, Cheryl, do you agree? I mean, I think we all make mistakes that we have to learn from. And I think that's part of the process of coming to God. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And the more mistakes you make, right, the smarter you become, because if you learn from your mistakes, then that just makes you more usable by God. And look, the founding of this nation was all about God-given rights and liberties. It came from the Declaration of Independence. That's our marching orders, endowed by our Creator. So this is not a radical idea. It's just recapturing that concept that, politics is important, winning the culture war is important, but the final war to keep America free, to keep individual freedoms alive, is God-given rights and liberties.
Well, I'm going to circle the square here, because I like kind of connecting things for people to make people think. And this is what I'm going to do. So one of the things that the left has done is they're godless. Did you know that, Cheryl? They're like atheists. They're like the old Soviets. They're evil. They are. Come on, it's true. It's true. No. So I want to point out that one of the things that at Davos reflects this. So here it is. The world is undergoing an energy transition that's unstoppable. United Nations Climate Chief Simon Schnell saying the door remains open. So these people, Hogan. Anyway, back to the topic. These people have made environment their God. They now have focused everything on nature. And we were making fun of the fact that the UN guy, wants us to understand that that we are living in a dangerous time. We just saw the knucklehead Beyonce wannabe with all the stuff talking about gun. Anyway, basically saying that they were looking for environmental justice. That is their god. Their god is this artificial nonsense known as man-made climate change. So they have convinced a lot of people using fake science that we mankind need to be subordinated to their ideal of green energy and utopia, their utopian ideals. Now, there's no such thing as utopia. I think the whole parable of Adam and Eve and the snake and leaving the Garden of Eden, we left paradise. It's time for us to get real and understand that we're here to be challenged and grow. So through all of this, we need to step away from this left-driven narrative that we need to eat bugs. By the way, Chris, have you had your ladybug souffle this morning yet?
No,
So,
I had mealworms this morning with my oatmeal.
Well, there you go.
They make
that's
nice
what they want.
sprinkles. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, see, that's my point, is they want to diminish us to eating bugs, and yet we want to rise to the occasion and be bright, be the creatures of God we're meant to be. Is that a good kind of circling the square regarding environment, Cheryl?
Oh, absolutely. And, these radical environmentalists, that's why they get so shrill and angry.
Oh, yeah.
When anybody, dares to buck their narrative, because like you said, that's all they have. They don't have they're not living for anything greater than themselves, right? Like this is it for them. It's this world, and then they die, and that's it. It's darkness. And so they just can't comprehend the idea of living for a higher power or the idea of a soul.
Exactly.
Of an individual. So yeah, they're secularists, they're atheists, they're humanists, but really they're just godless is what it is.
Well, keep in mind
evil.
Keep in mind the World Economic Forum is filled with the types like this Noah Harari, who was telling people that humans have no souls or free will. It's just
he has no soul.
Right. The guy's already discussing, and even he moved back when Trump was elected, saying, "Oh no, the era of all this is kind of waning," and this is the kind of thing that's happening. But you still have the likes of John Kerry, who speaks boldly about the need to go for these clean energy sources that don't work. You want to go for clean energy? Try nuclear, but these guys can't line their pockets with it.
So I got an idea. I'll run this by some folks I know. Do you think we ought to take John Kerry and give him his own little ice hut, like Ice Station Zebra, and let him sit on the North Pole and watch the ice cap melt, so he could be the early warning? What do you think? Wouldn't that be great? It's like, John, we believe you, but we need to have someone volunteer to go watch, because ice may melt. So you get up there and you here's a radio. Get on that radio and there he is, old Boltneck. We'll put old Boltneck up there with a radio. What do you think, Cheryl? Can we put John Kerry with a radio on the North Pole and have him tell us when it melts?
Yeah, he can split shifts with Al Gore, right?
Al Gore. Who was more boring, by the way, Al Gore or John Kerry?
Oh man, I don't know. They ought to have a. I'd like it. That could be a TV series. Send the two of them to a strip club and see who is more boring. That'd be fun.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Al Gore had that kiss on the stage, though, right? That made the world swoon.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
I guess Barack Obama won't be doing that, since I guess they're getting divorced. But let's not go down that path this morning.
So they could go with the Carol. What was that? What's her name? Carol Hines, Cheryl Hines, whatever the first name of Kerry's wife was or is.
I think it's Cheryl.
If you cheat on me, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to maim you.
I'm going to put you in a bottle of Heinz 57.
In 2004, I want to bring it back to 2004. There was a debate. There was one debate between George W. Bush and John Kerry. It was like they were going off, and there was one thing they asked about their wives. And the one guy, George Bush, was all, I love Laura Bush, blah blah, and everything. We're a team and everything. And John Kerry couldn't come up with anything. He goes, well, some people told me I married up, and I did, something like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. At the very end, they tried to hug their spouses. She was like she had this face on her. It was like really nasty. It was like. No,
I think it's a lot of fakery. Like like Carlos Danger and Hamid Abadi. I mean, I think they were told to get married and they made the best of it. So, and
you know what,
Carlos Danger and his online escapades and all that. So
you know,
I'm
that-
going
that-
somewhere with that. Keep going.
in hindsight, that's one laptop that should have been kept secret because we got stuck with De Blasio after all that.
Oh, I
happened.
think we got more coming from that. Just saying. Anyway, but back to that point. So Carlos Danger, aka Anthony Weiner. I guess I can say that on the air, right? Weiner. Is that okay? Is that? I'm not going to get bleeped or something. I hope.
I
Anyway.
suppose you can say that.
I guess so. I did it. So anyway, so Anthony Weiner actually got caught doing things with kids online. So that's part of my point, Cheryl, is that these people have no ethics. They believe children are a resource. One of the notable things in the headlines is Tom Homan, God bless you, Tom, is out finding all these missing children. They traced a kid in Iceland that was missing. Yeah, he's not in Iceland. He's like, I don't know. I think he's working at the 7-Eleven at 15th and Broad Street in the Bronx. Just saying. So, by the way, he's really good with Slurpees. So if you want a Slurpee with some style, go see Tony. Tony Weiner.
You bring up you bring up a good point with those missing kids, though, because it was just disgusting. The previous administration was so unconcerned about, hundreds of thousands of missing children, and they never even made a statement on it. It really was a big joke.
But they sure as hell were adamant about keeping that Epstein list secret, and they're definitely worried about the P. Diddy list. This is going to be, this is something that for some reason, okay, I know that it was not reported, but it went unnoticed by a lot of people. If you think about that, and the Obama administration was the same thing. Even the New York Times did a scathing report on the missing children during the Obama administration, but others. Hey, it's just flittering news to them. It's nothing. It doesn't matter because they want to see what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's dress is going to be at some kind of awards ceremony. That's what they care about. They want to care about what.
But that's the point. It's like to Cheryl's book's point is that they have no problem with unethical behavior. From I'm bringing up some of these names. I know we're trying to be funny, and I think we're pretty funny. But I'm actually using, it's our job, right, to educate, inform, and entertain. So we're being entertaining with our education.
Yes.
And my point being is that these people are despicable. They have no ethics. If it's either, if it's from old Boltneck, living the big life with Worcestershire sauce and Heinz 57 sauce, all he wants, lifetime supply, to Anthony Weiner working at the 7-Eleven on Broad and 45th or 43rd. Sorry, I got it wrong. But whatever. I said Broad. Anyway, there's a pattern. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Could you run that? That's a great clip, by the way. It makes my point.
That's a picture.
Hey, Cheryl, did P. Diddy ever oil up Hillary? No, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Oh, come on. This is breakfast time.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get over the bugs and that you put on your cereal, Chris. So
they're not bugs, they're mealworms. They're more like maggots. The maggots have a nice little thread. Hey, get used to it. If after Trump's gone, they're going to try it again. Get used to it. Yeah. They were serving mealworms to kids in Germany a couple years ago.
I saw in Davos, they were passing out bugs, granola bars or something like that. Just really trying to force people to eat the insects.
Well, over there, that's cannibalism. That's another story.
That's right. We could go to the alien and conspiracy some other day, but we should do that. By the way, one of the big issues I keep getting asked is like, Tony, are you going to put pressure on the Pentagon to give up all of the UFO secrets? The answer is I've already talked about that stuff. I don't know what you want, other than official disclosure, which is coming. I think we'll find out all that stuff. But anyway, back to bugs real quick. The bug issue, again, illustrates how they think of mankind, of us, as a resource. And that as Harari, is that his name, Chris?
Yep.
Says,
yeah.
Yes.
But your book
Yuri Noah Harari
disputes that.
Yeah.
Your book disputes that. And I think the evidence is amply apparent. A lot of us live our lives. Go ahead, please.
And I actually have a chapter on Epstein in there too, going toward the point that you were just making. So, yeah, it's just the left, the Democrat Party of today, right? And you guys know this, your listeners and watchers know this. They're not the Democrat Party of JFK. They're not even the Democrat Party of Bill Clinton years, right? They hate America, and they hate Western ideals. They hate the idea of a creator and having to be accountable to anything higher than themselves. And this is why we have the politics we have right now. It's just, it's despicable Marxists in the Democrat Party trying to destroy our nation.
And having said that, to your point, your book's point, I just want to throw this in there. When the absence of having a church or religion to worship, these people still are seeking something as somebody to do so. They're looking to worship a man.
Yes.
This is where you get your Jim Joneses of the world, and how he was really strung into the socialists in California, because these people are godless, but they still need something to worship. They worship celebrity. They worship the Obamas. They worship Taylor Swift. They worship.
Well, that's
right,
Chris. That's a brilliant point. I hadn't even thought about that. But Cheryl, I think you would back me up on this. That's why they really believe the Kamala Harris campaign, by bringing in all of their gods, all the celebrities. Right. That's going to win us the election. That's their perception, right? I mean, that's what
is exactly their perception. And of course, how do you think Joe Biden actually became president, aside from maybe all the other shenanigans? He was legitimized because of he was on Obama's coattails. Obama was their living god for a long time. He was there, less forced upon Kim Jong-il.
And remember, Obama was just as all glitz and no substance. He ran on a campaign of hope and change. Hope and change of what? What does that mean? Completely meaningless, but he won. So yeah, the left is all about the image and the glitz and the shiny object you dangle in front of their eyes, and then they're ready to follow it.
Oh, right. I had conservative friends who voted for Obama. They told me about this, and several of our friends who are celebrity friends, Cherie Curry and Susan Olsen. Remember, Chris? They talked about voting for Obama.
To be fair, the Republicans dropped the ball. They did not watch the derivatives being traded over the last over the 7 years prior, and they should have known, because that destructive ninja loan policy from the mid 1990s in the Clinton administration, when it came towards selling out, it caused all these problems. They should have kept an eye on this. They didn't. They deserved to lose no matter who was there. That's the problem.
So,
and that's
right.
Yeah. We got a rabbit hole.
And they finally got to define hope and change in the Biden years. It was hope for ice cream and change of depends. So they finally they figured it out. They figured it out.
And I know I repeat this, but in 2008, the Democrats still found a way not to run Hillary.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Poor Hillary. Well, at least she got the shellacking from P. Diddy, right? I'm sure she'll have that memory forever. Anyway, let's talk about the Epstein chapter now that we're talking about this. So tell us a bit more about the Epstein chapter and why you wrote it and what it's. Don't give away everything, because I mean, obviously,
people have to read this book.
I just wrote it as an example of how politics basically takes away from the principle. So if we're a nation where we take our rights from God and we insist on our political leaders being godly in their leadership, we wouldn't have this big cover up going on with Epstein, right? We would know. And we still don't know, right? And, it was interesting because while I was writing the chapter, and after I turned the first pass in, the final product, there was news coming out about Epstein and how the Joe Biden administration was going to release information. And I thought, oh, geez, now my chapter is going to be moot. But I had an instinct that it wasn't, that it was just all show in the media. And, I was right. I didn't have to change anything in the chapter because we still don't know. We still don't know what went on with Epstein. And hopefully under Trump now, we'll get some facts, like with the UFOs and JFK and all that.
Yeah. Well, I still think that JFK, Marilyn Monroe, and RFK are all sitting in a room on a spaceship in orbit. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. But it could be true, but it's not. Anyway, my point being is and Pam, let me go to this, because Pam Bondi has said, I think it was during her questioning as the incoming attorney general, that there's nothing legally prohibiting the release of those lists. She said that. So, man, oh man, If I were on that list, I'd be like moving to, I don't know, where's it? What's it? Bora Bora? Do they not have an extradition treaty with us or something?
Maybe they'll
I'd
go
be
to
looking for a
Pango
place to go.
Pango. There we
Pango
go.
Pango. Antarctica, Camp McMurdo. Hey, do you have something in the ice for me?
Oh, ouch! That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Hey
well,
yo, he gets a hey
So-
for that. I was a little slow.
So
on the
Cheryl,
hey there.
do you think so? Two questions related to your chapter? Do you think that the federal government and because I think it's going to happen. I think both lists are going to be released: the P Diddy list, the Epstein list. I
Mhm.
think it's coming. And do you think that they're Confederates? And I use that word with reason. They're Confederates. Those who are on the list, their Confederates will give them early warning to say, "Hey, the list is going to be released next week. Do you think they're going to give people early warning so they can scramble?"
I'm sure that there will be some early warnings given, right? Friends of friends who hear things from friends will whisper it down the line. And look, we just need to have the information. With Epstein in particular, we're talking about minors. We're talking about young women who are sexually trafficked. And we're talking about a mysterious death of Epstein, which is bogus, really, if you think it was suicide. And so, these are all things that just go to law and order and common decency and the moral compass of our nation. And so I hope those lists come soon, and I hope there's actually accountability, and I hope those who are on the list, I hope they're in fear right now.
Well,
Well,
that's
they
the
should
issue
be.
I see right now.
They
Yeah,
were
go ahead, Chris.
before, as a matter of fact. Did you remember when this was supposedly going to come out before Epstein killed himself?
Yes.
There were Nancy Pelosi's daughter put a tweet out. This one was called Twitter. That's how long ago it was. But put a tweet out saying something to the kind of, well, the list might come out. We're going to have to deal with it. Some of our faves might be on there, but so some of our faves might be on there was a line that I just remember from her. And that means she and the Democrat insiders know a lot of their people are on that list, and they absolutely know it. They found a way to they found a way to stop it from being put out there, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
I think, go ahead, Cheryl.
I was just going to say, it's a good thing when it happens. I mean, we should all welcome that, even if there are people on that we don't want to see on it. It doesn't matter, right? The principle, the moral compass is more important than, destroying somebody's political career or whatever.
But I think this is the thing. That's why I brought up Carlos Danger and all this nonsense. I think, Cheryl, we're going to come to find a lot of the politicians who the left admire have been essentially brought in and retained in that world. I mean, remember, Harvey Weinstein was another guy who was heavily involved in sexual escapades, and nobody said a thing. What's that guy? Ed Buck. Ed Buck, that fundraiser. Cheryl, he killed 2 black men with drugs before they put him in jail, and they kept letting him off because Democrats. And it's incredible to think about the debauchery that they have allowed to become an official plank of their party. And so I have no problem putting it all out there. And I think Trump's going to do it because and maybe there's going to be some Republicans on that list too. I don't know. Maybe Murkowski and McConnell.
But that's not going to matter.
I don't think it's going to matter.
I want to jump into this. That's not going to matter because Republicans will reject them if they're on the list. But their followers, the centrists, and everything. Let's go back to what we were discussing before. The left, people on the left are godless, and they have nobody to worship. So they want to worship celebrity, politicians, the state, pop stars. And if these people are on that list, this is akin to somebody finding something out about a major, let's say, a major religious figure. It's the kind of it'll hurt their entire belief system, and you see how these people melt down when they don't get their way during an election. Imagine what happens when the people they worship, they worship as if they were gods, are found to be on a child molesters list. Either they're going to justify it,
exactly,
or their entire world is going to fall apart.
Yeah. So I think the whole idea is transparency, and as a matter of fact, I'm just reading the headlines here. I think you're all going to chuckle at this. Dr. Phil's doing ride-alongs with ICE as they grab illegal aliens in Chicago.
Why is it you came here to
talk
jump
about
over the
winning
fence when you could have just tried to wait in line?
This is great. This is like
how do you
Saturday
feel
Night
about
Live. This is wonderful.
How do you feel about getting deported after assaulting people here in the U.S.? I got to hear questions like that.
Every day I'm reading these headlines, X amount deported, X amount deported, X amount deported. I mean, it's amazing. It's head spinning. Everybody's getting deported. It's hilarious.
Well, it's
really.
so funny because I heard, I listened to, don't have to. Chris, is there something wrong? Oh, here we go. So anyway, I was listening to NPR the other day, and they had one of their folks saying, well, the number's not that much more than normal. It's like they're in such denial. It's so funny to listen to them. And by the way, did you notice I'm wearing the Thurston Howell Band T-shirt? They're out of Charlotte. Great folks.
Yes.
Yacht Rock. So smooth is good. Anyway, my point being is that Cheryl, you're there in DC. Maybe you know the secret? Is it true that anybody who works for NPR has to go to the Thurston Howell School for Diction so they can have a lovely voice? Now we're going to go to Dr. Phil at the deportation ceremony in Chicago.
There are striking similarities, aren't there?
Roadhog! Oh, Magoo, you've done it again. We're talking about immigration. There are people melting down over this immigration issue too, and it's just fun to watch.
Let's do this. This is good.
Okay, here's one of my favorite meltdowns. This is good. These people just don't understand the issue altogether. These are criminals being tossed out.
How could you walk up there and vote for him after everything he said he was going to do? You think justice is for born here? You're not gonna go through it. It doesn't like you. When are you gonna understand that? My God. Like, it's so scary. So scary to know that just at any given moment you can just be separated from your family, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing, because it's the law. Or even you can go to how could you?
She's crying about this whole thing of being separated from the families. She was asleep the last 4 years, or during the deporter in chief's era, and during the Obama presidency, apparently. And by the way, lady, guy, whatever you are, shave the mustache. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
There's two solutions. There's two solutions if you're afraid. First off, go back home. You don't have to be here. Nobody forced you here. Yep. Secondly, if you want to be here, come back the legal way, and you don't have to worry. You're good to go. Just say it. Nobody's going to deport you if you're here legally. So, I'm sorry. My family came from Spain, from Sevilla, from northern Spain, about 1910. We got here the legal way. So just saying, nobody tried to deport us. So, Exactly. Cheryl, what do you think? I mean, are we being too extreme here on these people?
No, it's just common sense, and that's what baffles me, because when I see videos like this, right, and you can just go to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's videos, and you just see one after another like that, right? It baffles me because it's so common sense, just exactly what you said, Tony. But I don't want to laugh, because it seems to me their grief is real, but I can't help laughing because they're so deranged in their thinking.
I know.
They think it's real and everything. Look, Cheryl, I know we understand you have to run off to something else after this, but here's the book one more time.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more time. Cheryl, thanks for being here. This was great. I want to have you come back and talk about it, because this is a topic all the Patriots love. We love it. And it actually allows us to put in context what's going on. I think it's wonderful. So thanks for being here today, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Bye.
So, man, that was great. That's great, man. Oh, man. So I hope that becomes a bestseller, because people have to understand this is not just random circumstance. I think there are a lot of things happening because of faith, because of God, people having the ability to make a choice to embrace the light, go to the light. So it's great. So
yeah, and you got to have faith, Tony. I love going to your threads too, because following you on X is always a blast. And I didn't see this on X. I'm glad I caught it on yours. So we have to play this for the Patriots.
This is good.
If you and I are sick and tired of Kamala Harris, and our Patriots are sick and tired of her, people on the right are sick and tired of her, we're not the only ones. James Carville is sick and tired. First off, I loved his comment about snot-nosed millennials running the party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This guy just doesn't hold back. Yeah, let's hear from him about Kamala Harris.
Let's listen in.
Again, I think it's fair to say that we're a long time at some level admirers of Joe Biden. And what he's done to himself is no one wants to hear from this guy anymore. Okay. Right. Just go to your condo in Rehoboth and stay there. And that's not because we're bad people or we mean people. It was all his doing. All his doing. This entire thing. In this kind of petty back and forth, or I would have beat Trump. And no one fucking believes that at all. I mean, just look.
Is that his dad?
You had a noble career. Your last act was terrible. Just get out of the way. The party's moving on. I mean, they're really moving on. And it's very sad but that's just where we are. And he created this himself. He has nobody to blame but himself. Right. Nobody.
I made a mistake. I said Harris, but it was really Biden. But the fact is the same thing. Go away. Yeah. He was already going off on Harris for allowing these, I love it, those millennials to run the campaign and make decisions for her. Yeah.
Well, and it's such a shame to see him fall from grace from his Academy Award winning role in Sling Blade. Boy, he was so good in that.
You shouldn't do that. He's just a boy. You gotta bring some home, some of them French fried taters. Taters. You gotta put the plug in.
James Carville and his dad, I guess they can kind of geese about how bad it is and everything. But yeah, we all know the truth. They just suck. There's more of them than there is of us. We've hung in there. As Cheryl pointed out, I think we have a faith in God. By the way, we're going to have Jesus Calling tomorrow, aren't we?
There will be Jesus Calling. It'll be Karen Calling and Jesus Calling. There we go.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, it's Karen's thing. So we let Karen do it. Otherwise, we're not heathens, right? We're not heathens, right, Chris?
Right, we're not. We are definitely not heathens. I mean, otherwise we would be, let's say we'd be following Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on a regular basis without making fun of her.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well,
that's hard to do,
I
by the way.
don't know how you don't make fun of her.
Yeah, that shows a lot of respect.
How do you not make fun of her?
I mean, she's a parody amongst herself.
Yeah. I don't know how. I think even some folks on the left are starting to make fun of her because it's like, either she's a brilliant comedian to the level of Joan Rivers. I mean, she's that smart, or she's just rock stupid. It's one of the two. I don't know which one it is, and I don't know if anybody does know. So,
well, there's a reason the Democrat establishment will not let her take on a leadership position. I mean, she has influence. Yeah. She does have she has the influence that they need. The problem is they still don't want her there because what she's going to do is she's going to embarrass the party. There's always somebody that has a lot of followers, but they're clowns. They're followers because people make fun of them or they just like the entertainment value. This would not be good for the Democrats. Her being the face of that party. Oh yeah, we like to say she's the leader because we want her to be the face of that party. They don't. Yeah. They really don't. They need one, but they don't have one.
Yeah. Now, this is a serious question for you. Has there been any scientific study of the size of her teeth compared to the ratio of her head? It seems like there's something out of whack there. I don't know. It's like Mr. Ed or something. I don't know. It mystifies me.
They grow because the grease inside her hair seeps into the brain and unusually triggers the growth hormone for just the teeth. And I think that's what happened there. Now there was a patriot who suggested something like the Democrats are trying to pull something next many years, and they're going to try to put John Fetterman as a vice president, or somebody who's going to pull that idea on them. Well, first off, he criticizes his own party too much. They're not going to want that. And secondly, they're going to need Fetterman. Hollywood's going to need Fetterman to play Sloth in Goonies 2 come 2029. That's what's going to happen.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, he could be like a one of the alien characters when they remake Lost in Space and have the entire Biden White House as the cast members.
Oh, the pain of it all.
That's right. So, would Jake Sullivan play Dr. Smith or someone else? No, who'd be a good Dr. Smith? Oh, John Kirby. Fauci. John Kirby could be a great Dr. Smith, don't you think?
Yeah, because Dr. Fauci is too short. He'd probably be playing Will.
Yeah, no. He'd have to be like a little mole man or something. He'd be one of the aliens that kind of creeps up.
The planet Gnome.
The planet Gnome. That's right. No, John Kirby John Kirby would be a really good Dr. Smith. I have to reach out to John. Maybe I'll text him right now. It's like, hey, John.
You know what? Why don't we just
Have
use
you
the
thought
Dr.
about
Smith?
going to Hollywood?
We should use the Dr. Smith of politics. That would be Justin Trudeau. He's doing nothing now. He'd be a perfect Dr. Smith.
Oh, but his eyebrows keep falling off. I don't think he can keep them on. I think,
and he's probably not as good of an
there's
actor
Dr.
as
Smith.
Harris. Oh, the pain of it all. Indeed, sir.
Harris was
You-
fun. If you read the trivia about the show, he was supposed to be disposable. He was supposed to die after the first episode, and he
Yeah.
was so compelling and funny. It's like over the top. They made him into a character, so he helped make that show by creating a really solid, funny character, evil but funny evil.
But they
Kind of
had
like
to find a-
Ocasio-Cortez, funny evil.
Right.
Yeah.
But they had to. But it was his idea to soften the character. If you notice, he was incredibly evil the first few episodes, and they set him up just systematically because they found the families were watching the show, so they needed to soften him up so he had a good relationship with the kid, so they wouldn't find, because then people would start asking, why didn't they kill this guy off so they can actually get back home and not have to have him deliberately screw everything up every time he's there, or sabotage them, or try to kill them. He used to try to leave them on the planet every time and kill them.
I know. Well, it's just like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton would have been that guy, I feel your pain, but I want to go home now. So anyway,
his rank was colonel, by the way.
Air Force colonel. Just saying, Air Force.
Then he became a doctor of intergalactic environmental psychology. They switched that.
That's right. That's right. Well, he was the first environmental justice warrior, apparently, if you look at the history books. He's out there fighting with all the woke snowflakes before they knew they were woke snowflakes, right? He's the father of the environmental justice movement.
I have to follow that list. I had a list. There was this. It's on the internet. A list of all the Dr. Smith insults. We're going to need all of that. This way,
we'll need those.
Biden, this way when
and we got to find. Yeah, we got to bring in Count Floyd and the Monster Chiller Horror Theater thing at some point. I miss that.
True.
Count Floyd. Ooh, kids. Ooh, look.
And you think
the
some
3D House of Pickles. Ooh, 3D.
And you think Adam Schiff would be the
Would you like some pickles?
Poop. How about another
All right, we gotta go. Man, we're over again. I
We
can't
always
believe
do
the
this.
hour goes so fast. Yeah. Anyway, well, I hope you all were educated, informed, and entertained, because we had a good time doing it. I think we learned a lot. Cheryl had her book. We'll have Cheryl back to talk more about God and his gifts and all the good stuff that happens from faith. Obviously, we had the faith, and we're here with a new dawn. Man, oh man, is Trump dawning? Man, he's doing a big dawn. So it's good. It's the dawn of civilization.
Yeah, look, this is again just not like last time. He was alone, and now with people like Maloney, Orban, Millet, there are more people standing. And pretty soon, possibly, he's still a little to the left. The conservative Poilievre, whatever his name is, the Apple guy from Canada. More people are going to side against Davos. That they're going to have to either crumble or get with the program.
Yeah. Well, the cookie will crumble. Just saying. So, but with that said, we got to go. I got to go do my workout and pull-ups and everything so I can, stay in shape. And Chris, I guess you're going to go off and do your Ed McMahon diction lessons to make sure
I have
you
to do
don't,
that.
drive
Hey
off
yo.
here.
I'm working on Bowser next time. Maybe I'll do a Bowser for you next time. He was one of the best.
Well, you can do that tomorrow morning. So anyway, folks, Patriots, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.